Good evening, Gabe.
Hey, what's up, Zach?
Not much. How are you?
Got a little beef with some of my female coworkers, you
Why's
know.
that?
Well, they seem to think that um, the WNBA is just as exciting as the NBA, and that yeah, that women are essentially equal to men in all aspects.
Well, what are their arguments?
I don't think it's really from a logical standpoint because yeah, their arguments were just kind of wow, I can't believe you said that, but really no reason as to why they believe what they believe. Whereas me, I was saying, well, you know, the NBA hasn't made a profit in its entire existence. And then I went on to ask you, like, have you ever been to a WNBA game? Have you ever watched one on TV? No, no. So you tell me, is it more exciting? I mean, you've probably been to an NBA game and seen guys throwing alley-oops to each other. You tell me, is that more exciting?
Well, I mean, you see it in revenue, you see it in ticket sales. Like it's not really up for dispute. Like more people tune in to watch NBA games than the WNBA. And that kind of leads into NCAA and how a lot of these young women are making more in college with NIL deals, but still feel the need to go pro and take a huge pay cut.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I mean, what are women's sports that are popular? It's usually sports that men like to watch, like volleyball, gymnastics. And why? Because, well, I don't think we really have to explain why. And that's really what they don't want in the WNBA. They don't want girls posterizing each other and then like helping each other up and hugging after. But like that's what men would want. We would be cheering, let's fucking go, yeah. And it would also be like, I mean, also an aspect of the gymnastics or volleyball where we get to admire their bodies. Like, I don't think that should be taken out of women's sports.
Well, I certainly think that that's a big reason, just sexual attraction. I mean, it's in everything, not just sports. I think that's a big reason that um, so many of these women's sports are, still in business per se, because, even at the university level, NCAA, like the football team, the basketball teams, men's basketball team are bringing in all the money for the athletic department. And we're supporting these women's sports with that money. Is that fair? I don't know. Is it equal? I guess so. But, sometimes equal isn't always fair.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point, and kind of makes me think about just men and women in a broader stance of, do you want equal outcomes or do you want equal opportunities? Because if you wanted equal opportunities, well, you're not getting that with the WNBA. You haven't turned a profit in your entire existence. So if things were equal, then there would be no WNBA. Like
Right.
the men would probably create something that, was probably more to our pleasing, like on a 9 foot rim or, something more suggestive where we get to see women in tighter clothes. Like that would probably make more money and that'd be an equal opportunity. But they want these equal outcomes where it's we want to be paid just as much as you guys, but we're not bringing in the same revenue. and it just doesn't. It's like you want the same outcomes, but you don't want to put in the same work. You don't want the same accountability at the end of the day.
No. Um, and I'm not gonna discount like that women's sports like don't put in work. I mean, they do put in work, but it's just factually, it's not. Even like other men's sports, they don't put in as much work and time as like football players do, and that's why, maybe I'm biased at being a football player playing football, but we're the ones who are generating everything for the university. And then, you know, it drives me nuts when like these female athletes, they feel entitled. I mean, they feel like they're not getting enough, but like if you want equal, you wouldn't be, getting nearly as much as you already are. And like, let's be real, going pro as a female isn't the same thing as going pro as a, as a in a in a male sport like basketball or football. Um, you can make some money from it, but like you're not gonna make enough to change your family tree like these men's sports, these male athletes make. That's starting to change though with the NIL and in college. I mean, some of these female athletes are making multi-million dollars, which I mean, depending on what you do with that money, that can change your life. So, I just don't understand why these female athletes like they want to prove something, they have something to prove, like they have a like pride. Like to be honest with you, I don't really care. I don't really care about sports like some other people do. But like even a normal sports fan, they don't care nearly as much or get nearly as invested in the top picks of the WNBA NBA draft as they do like the NFL draft coming up.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like kind of the branding, I think that's a lot of athletes, that's really what you're getting paid for is your ability to market yourself and make companies money just using your brand and your image. And like let's take the UFC. They get equal opportunity. They're both put on the same fight cards, and there's clearly a difference in the skill level. But I think the women that have success in sports and just making money, they understand that men are the ones primarily watching UFC. And so they get, I don't want to be this manly woman. They want to be this girly chick who's also an assassin and is sexy. Like that's what's appealing to us, and that's what's going to make them money and get more eyes on them, get companies to want to have them as an endorsement, and just being able to play that game of, well, we're not equal. We're not as good as you guys, so being like the braggy Conor McGregor type of UFC fighter, that's not going to work for women. You know, what works for them is being able to kind of parade their beauty.
Yeah. I mean, I think it comes down to the fact that men are just it's not debatable. Men are superior to women physically. You can't debate that. I mean, we have a different muscle structure. We hold our weight different. Like men are just more capable and more naturally gifted at competition. And so like why would I want to watch women's sports where the level is just sub tier and things aren't as intense in any sport you can think of. Everything seems a little bit slower. Um, that's there's not a market for that. Like people want to, the reason people watch sports is they want to see who the best of the best is. That's the whole point of competition. And you're not going to get that in women's sports.
Yeah, there's a reason that women don't play baseball. They can't hit the ball. It's that small. They need to throw underhand, and there's a reason that their fences aren't 400 feet. They can't hit the fucking ball that far. Like we're just different. There's really nothing up for debate there.